just asking questions.
He doesn't even do like that. I'm asking questions. He'll be like, I was just talking about it. And then like, now we're just having a conversation. And then once you prove me wrong, it's like, oh yeah, I don't, because he doesn't stick to the convictions of what he was saying. It's like, oh, it's fine. Like, because you just let it go. So it's okay that you were spewing bullshit as long as once someone tells you you're spewing bullshit that you can be like, oh yeah, you're right. I was just talking out of my ass.
Yeah, I mean that's annoying, but I guess it's kind of better than the alternative of someone who will just stubbornly like never fucking admit that they're even slightly wrong about anything.
I guess the thing is to just be like, you should learn from this. You know what I mean? And not like continue to spew out bullshit that you don't actually know and act like it's true until someone calls you out on it. But either way, but yeah, that's the news portion. Stavros' dad is going to be the one that gets Joe Biden reelected. So be prepared for that.
Joe Biden's skin draped over Gavin Newsom's body. That's who's going to cross the finish line.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast that will no longer tolerate the oppression and genocidal decimation of a proud people. People like Chuck/Amy Schumer, John Lovitz, Gal Gadot. People like benighted Ivy League trust fundists afraid to leave their collegiate penthouses for fear of having their politics slightly criticized by implication at a proximal protest in favor of stopping something called a Nakba 2.0, whatever that is. All they know is that those red, green, black, and white flags are anti-Semitic and pro-Jewish rape. Case closed. Cue Law and Order intro theme. It is 12:35 p.m. KST, Saturday afternoon, December 9th, year of our Lord, 2023. Air currents containing 4% carbon monoxide currently being expelled from Josh's lips to your God's podcatching ears. Likewise, inhaling and exhaling my podcasting colleague on the other side of the flat earth, Secretary of Based Puns, CEO of Hot Takes Incorporated, Timothy Robert Buechner. Tim, how's life in Tinseltown, La La Land, Lotus Land, Shaky Town, the City of Dreams, the entertainment capital of the world? I found a list of nicknames for Hollywood, and there were some weird ones I never heard of before, like the Big Orange.
Oh, not real.
Was one of them?
That is made up. That might have been a thing a long time ago, because we had early on, like all of Southern California was just Hollywood. A lot of people still, I think of it that way who've never been here. It's like all of Southern California is just Los Angeles / Hollywood. So I think that probably Orange County, when it was like known for growing oranges there, probably people thought, well, LA is the big orange, on account of...
Or maybe it was like I just realized it could be in response to the Big Apple.
It is. But New York is the Big Apple because there's apple orchards in upstate New York. Like, that was a very popular cash crop in that region. So then the city is the Big Apple. New York is known for apples. It used to be known for apples, which is crazy to think about. And it still is. There's a lot of like really good apple orchards in New York. The culture of apples in New York, while people do enjoy the fruit, it still exists. It's still vibrant, but it's also very popular when it comes to making cider, which a long, long time ago, around the time of settling America times, cider was not like juice, right? When you said apple cider, you meant what we call hard cider. So, like, even like Johnny Appleseed, right? Like, people think of Johnny Appleseed as like he planted apples for people to eat. That was not what he was doing. Most of the apples that Johnny Appleseed planted would taste disgusting. Those apples were meant for fermenting and making alcohol. So just keep that in mind, yeah. So the California or New York apple culture is based around drinking booze, not eating apples.
Speaking of Californians, I just felt like I was being taken on a tour through Apple Country by Huell Hauser there.
That's amazing. We were explaining California's gold to my sister-in-law during Thanksgiving. It was very interesting. But anyways, thank you. I really did appreciate you. I feel like you're trying to catch up, giving me more nicknames there that you were throwing out, trying to have me catch up to you. I did want to introduce and welcome people to this episode of Heat Meth of the Universe, the only podcast that exclusively sells our crystal methamphetamine to the Iron Crusaders biker gang. How you doing tonight, Josh?
I'm good. Doing good here in City of Champions is the number one nickname for Los Angeles on this list
that
here.
Makes sense. We won a lot of
something called destguides.com.
Okay.
The fuck?
Dest?
Dest Guides.
What's a dest? I don't even know what a dest is.
I don't know. It seems like a URL that was really cheap that this weird website wanted to go on.
That's a solid idea. Like
El Pueblo is number 2. Number 5, LAEL space capital LAY.
Okay, yeah. That's just like Latinoizing it. Yeah, I get that.
6 double Dubuque?
Double Dubuque.
What is anyway.
Everyone calls it that all the time.
Tinseltown, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, we went through that. So, all right.
Anyways. Anywho.
Yeah, just another overcast Saturday here in Korea land. And let's dive into the headlines, I suppose. Unless we want to just chant our version of the Real Time with Bill Maher intro music for the rest of the episode.
Bill. Yeah, okay.
Bill Nye the palate cleansing guy. Okay.
Yes.
So in the biggest news of the day, Time Magazine has named their Person of the Year. For once, it's not.
It's a cat.
For once, it's not Zelensky.
Oh, yeah.
It's been Zelensky like twice in a
Well,
row.
wasn't it? One time it was like the Ukrainian spirit embodied by
the spirit of Ukraine, but it was his big face on it, surrounded by flags and shit. But then it was just him.
Right.
Anyway, it's what's this broad's name? Taylor Swift.
I'm just looking at that cat.
Yeah.
I just like that cat.
Taylor Swift and her cat. Apparently this is like huge to people that obsess over this woman, which, I mean, I don't know. Color me old. Whatever. I get it. I get that I don't get it. Like her appeal, but I never had she's old too.
Yeah,
she's been around for a long ass time, and I always thought she was milquetoast, middle of the road, totally forgettable. It's why it blows my mind that she's like, what, the world's #1 pop star, supposedly?
I don't know about the world's.
Or, you know,
She's
whatever.
very popular
She's
in America.
fucking huge.
We talked. I don't know if we talked about that on here, but talked about like
I don't
Bad
think
Bunny,
so.
Bad Bunny, and how Bad Bunny is actually much more popular in the entire world than even like someone like Taylor Swift. If you look at his like popularity throughout the entire world, he's probably a bigger. But anyways, that doesn't matter. But yeah. She's very popular in the United States. She's the top pop star here, and that's the frame that we view things through. So I'll give her that. But you know, if you looked at per capita and the rest of the country or the rest of the world, she's not.
Okay. She's
very
anyway,
popular. She's
point,
very famous. She makes a fucking huge difference. Her Q rating is through the roof. She's literally helping make football more popular than it used to be just by fucking a guy. It's insane. And I agree with everything you said. She's like probably like half, or a quarter of a generation off from us, which is very funny because you talk about like it makes you feel old, but she's literally like just a step or two younger than us, not by much, but just enough to where it's got that cognitive dissonance from like how she became popular, and you just kind of being like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong for thinking this is fucking dumb, but I do always like, because every now and then someone hits the take, and so, you know, I'm wording it like the most recent time, but this happens every couple of months. Someone hits the take on Twitter that is, the reason why Taylor Swift is so popular is because she makes mid girls think that they could also be famous because they're just as mid as her, you know, and that's kind of the thing.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I picked up on this at all is that I think I just randomly stumbled upon something on Reddit. So, who's Eric Kahn, double N's? Does that even mean anything? Is that a person?
I mean, it doesn't mean nothing to me.
Okay, well, some guy on Twitter, he wrote the following about her being Person of the Year, which I found kind of funny. Just these bizarro conservatoid people. He says, it's shameful and sad that a hyper-promiscuous, childless woman, parentheses, Taylor Swift, even though the picture of her is right below this. Thanks for telling us. Aging and alone with a cat has become the heroine of a feminist age. There's a lot of, and then you look at this guy's own picture. I don't know. He looks like he's holding a lot of, I don't know, unexpressed rage.
Okay, sure. But is he a 1 or a 0 on the binary scale? That's the real question.
I don't know. His beard is kind of hiding a lot. He's got a kind of an alt-right haircut that immediately sets off red flags for me, or something. But mostly, like, I mean, whatever to all
I get
of
what
this,
you're saying.
really. Like,
but you know what? I think he's one of these guys who's like, he's probably looks fine underneath that beard, but he's too self-conscious to shave it. And the thing is that, like, you know, confidence is what's attractive, and that's why people like Taylor Swift and they don't like this guy.
Yeah, I wonder who he is. It'd be funny if he turns out to be someone and not just some guy, but I'm not going to take the time to look it up.
Everyone is somebody and some guy to somebody or some guy.
Sure. That's on my what do they call those things?
Affirmation board?
When you sew like a saying into something and then frame it. Sampler? Why am I thinking the word sampler?
Wrong. That's not what it's called. Needle. I've heard people call it like a needle point, but I don't think that's what you're trying to think of for the word. Either way.
Sampler is the fucking word. I am right.
That can't be right. Sampler?
Look it up. Sampler, parentheses, needlework. Wikipedia.
No, okay. When I look up sampler, all I get is like 808s, like beat machines. So,
well, I searched needlepoint sampler and got my results. But anyway,
Well, I guess that's just because you're racist.
What?
Because I searched that and I'm getting pictures of cool black teens making beats, and you're getting old white people stuff.
You searched needlepoint sampler and are getting cool black teens making beats.
Yes, I am. Anyways, this looks like a tapestry. Why is it called a sampler? This is not a sampler. This is tapestry.
I don't know, but I knew that somewhere in the back of my mind that's what those things are.
I guess
called.
you did. I guess
But
you did.
anyway,
Okay, fine. Cross stitching, needlework.
It sounds wrong. I'll give you that. That's why I was doubting myself. But this just reminded me of how stupid Time Person of the Year is, but how kind of it.
Well, okay.
I'll give it credit for it. It is like an interesting time capsule to, like, if you look at the list, if you go back to all the way back to, what is it, 1924, Charles Lindbergh is the first one, 1927. Famously Hitler was Man of the Year. Stalin got it twice. I didn't know that until today. I guess their whole thing, too, is that they're not trying to say that these people are, like, ideologically agreeable either. They're just trying to say that they haven't, like, the most impact on the world, right, which makes the Taylor Swift choice even more fucking weird and pathetic.
It kind of doesn't, because it is easy to write it off, as you're saying, in that just, like, she's just this popular music person who's not very good or whatever. And I'll give you that kind of. I do think that she speaks to the fact that, like, she's one of the last pop stars that exists. Like, the fact that Taylor Swift is one of the last vestiges of, like, a monoculture and not just, like, a niche thing. She's, like, has a broad-based appeal to a lot of people. As I talked about, she kind of started her career, right, like a generation or two right behind, like, our time or whatever, which was just before kind of that happened. Because I think me and you both kind of grew up in the age of, like, there still was a monoculture. And then, like, shortly after that, it kind of disappeared. But the other part of it, too, is that when you look at Taylor Swift's impact as kind of being a person who bucked the trends in entertainment when it came to, like, monopolization and kind of the industry having a stranglehold on all artists, it has to do with the fact that she's so ubiquitously, like, famous and so big that she can do this. But Taylor Swift over this year really swung her dick around when it came to, like, refusing to just buy into letting the capitalists dictate her moves and take a piece out of everything that she does. She did the Taylor's version thing where she re-recorded all of her songs to get the rights to her masters back. I don't know any of this. She did the end run around the studios and produced her own documentary film about her tour series, and at the same time signed a subcontract with the unions while they were on strike so that she was able to release her film that she did without the studio's backing on her own, and then still also paid the union employees what they were asking for so that they did not have to boycott or strike working on her documentary. So, like, in a way, she really had a huge impact because she showed that it's still possible for someone to break out of the system and say, like, no, like, I'm not going to just let the big time capitalists, the people, the powers that be, the people who control the system dictate the terms, and I just have to accept it and, like, deal with it because this is the only way that I'm going to be able to produce my music and make any money off of this. She's like, no, I have a big enough audience. I demand enough, attention that fuck you. I'm going to do my own thing. And she did. And she did it and got away with it in in the music industry, in the film industry. And that's huge. So I definitely do see how she had the biggest impact because there ain't nobody else who's doing that. And I talked about, like, oh, she's not the biggest, most famous celebrity in the world or even musician, pop star, whatever. She's not. But one thing that stands out is, like, over this decade, the past, like, 10, 15 years, like, K-pop has become very popular, has broken out, has, gotten, like, more mainstream. But K-pop stars are very, very micromanaged and controlled by their studios and stuff, right? So, like, even while the industry in America and the industry as a whole is taking one way and being controlled, and the people who have the money dictate and the stars are just a cog in the system, she bucked that trend and said, no, I'm a big enough star that I don't need that. So they might be more famous when it comes to the whole world, and she might be more famous just in America, but she's also more influential because she's breaking out of the system and the line of just like following and doing what you're told.
I mean, I guess that's cool. She's also already like tremendously rich from being a cog for so many decades. So it's hard to see it as like super heroic. Like she's probably personally benefiting more from going this route.
Yes,
but aside
I'm not saying
from all that,
I wasn't saying heroic though. I'm saying impact. Just like you were saying that the Time Person of the Year thing is not about them being a good person or liking their politics, is about impact. That's what I'm saying. Is she has a bigger impact because she shows that someone was able to do this. And again, like you said, it's Craven. It could still be Craven, and it could just be the same thing as her like playing up the idea that like she doesn't ever, refute the thing where people were like, she's gay, or the thing where people say she's white power. Like she just lets people believe that because it makes her more money because those communities support her. So yeah, like it's Craven and it's fucking bad, but it's impactful.
Yeah, I just I could think like immediately of like what 12,000 more people that have had like bigger impact on the world at large. Like, I mean, she's in this small corner of the entertainment industry. Like, I don't know. I mean, this is like the grumpy fucking communist or whatever coming out, but like, I'm looking at their criteria right now, the Time magazine criteria. It's a person, group, idea, or object, for better or for worse, has done the most to influence the events of the year. That's not her, no matter how you slice it, no matter what she's been up to. But whatever, they always pick stupid people. 2020, they picked fucking Biden and Kamala Harris. I wonder how much they're enjoying that choice now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, there have been a lot of silly choices of the year. I remember that I was reminded of this one, I should say. In 2006, it was you.
Yes.
As in us. the people on the internet, we're the most impactful. That's kind of a cop out.
They've done that a couple times. They've done like different versions of the person reading this. They did the internet creators. They did they did other versions of that same concept before too.
Well, on the wiki, they have it like broken down into like different types of people, and it's like classes of unnamed people. There was the American Fighting Man in both 1950 and 2003. It's the American Fighting Man / the American Soldier.
Jesus. Okay.
What was going on in 2003? I have to think about it. The Hungarian freedom fighter, 1956. U.S. scientists. The Inheritor, 1966. I'd like to see more about that, but I won't derail us that much.
Sure.
Middle Americans, 1969. American Women, 1975. The Protester, 2011. I remember that bullshit.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Anyway, and then twice Inanimate Objects have won the Computer Machine of the Year, 1982, and the Endangered Earth Planet of the Year, 1988. They didn't used to call it Person of the Year, apparently, until 1999. Before that, they would get specific with what the thing was. But anyway.
And, but here's the real thing. They had the computer, but they've never had the femputer, so...
Only one abstract concept, and that was the spirit of Ukraine.
Nice. That's pretty good. I'll give them that. Really broke the mold with that one.
Yeah, and it was a dead heat in 2001 between Giuliani and Osama bin Laden. Apparently,
that's pretty good.
And they went to Giuliani just because it it looks nicer or whatever. So that was their thinking. All right. I think that's probably enough of that. Shall we cleanse our palates? Rub the pickled ginger on our gums. So, George Santos. I never paid really much attention to this hero, this cool guy. But I did pay attention to this one article in The Guardian, which has collected together 14 of his biggest lies, or rather 14 of his reactions to being fact-checked on 14 of his biggest lies. I don't know. Is there any point in like summing up who George Santos is? Let's see. Well, he has recently been expelled from Congress. He's this Republican guy, a congressman. I believe he's from Brazil. I think he's like one of the first like openly gay Republican congressmen. Maybe the first. I don't even know. That's really all I know about him. And then like the reason he's been expelled is because he was like using government funds or whatever to like buy OnlyFans subscriptions and shit, and like
I don't think it was government funds. I think it was he was using campaign donations.
Yes, you're right. You're probably right. I'm sure. He also called himself the embodiment of the American dream. Basically, he's just like a huge bullshit artist, is what it seems like. Yeah. Number one, he said he graduated from Baruch. I don't even know this.
I've
place.
Always heard it
College?
said Baroque College. I don't.
Baroque College.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what it is. I've just always heard it said that way.
And it does confirm here that he is the first openly gay Republican to win a House seat as a non-incumbent. That's okay. That's really like narrowing it down. So, and he's also not Brazilian per se. He's the son of Brazilian immigrants, I guess. I thought maybe he was actually from Brazil. Okay. Described himself as a New York Public College graduate at Baroque. The college found no record of Santos as a student. His response in an interview with the New York Post soon after the allegations surfaced, Santos confessed he hadn't graduated from, quote, from any institution of higher learning and had used a, quote, poor choice of words. You gotta love that poor choice of words. I graduated from Harvard.
Whoops.
Sorry, that was a poor choice of words. I've never actually set foot into a university. What a fucking idiot.
It was a poor
or
choice
a genius. Or a genius. I don't know what the deal. Like, I'm sort of perplexed why I keep seeing this guy brought up. Like, you know, obviously it's sarcastic, but like in the sort of like.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's not sarcastic that fucking like devout socialists are saying like, what a hero, what a funny, cool guy. Like,
I mean,
I don't
devout socialists
get it.
maybe
you're just
they're being sarcastic, but in the circles of the people that I talk to who are like somewhat socialist leaning, but also like just like being like weird, edgy, fucking idiots. You know what I mean? The kind of people who like I talk to people who like grew up on Cumtown like on Children. Their brain are rotted to like ironic like racism, all that stuff. Like basically like us when we were kids. He's a folk hero, I think. In a way, like George Santos is a folk hero because he's just a guy who like is somewhat fruity with it, but nobody can really define. Just absolutely vibes the fuck out and just says whatever the fuck he wants. Like, it's cool. He's cool. He's cool. He's fun. He got elected to the Senate just based on, like, being a good hang. You know what I mean? Like, being the kind of guy that people want to hang out with and party with, and, like, he just says stuff, and it's like, oh my god, you're crazy, and that's it. And somehow got all the way to the Senate. Like, that is sick. It's like that lady, they made a movie about her. The girl that was like, oh god, was it Delphi? Not Delphi. Kara. Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about? The Russian. It wasn't a movie.
Yes,
it was a miniseries.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah. It's like her, like
I forget her name, but yeah.
her being able to just
She
scam...
she just she lied her way into like upper social
Right.
like worlds of New York and fashion and whatever.
Yeah, Santos did the same thing, but getting into the fucking Senate, like, it's sick. People
the
like
House,
that.
but yeah,
People like that. It's, I mean, okay, Congress. Sorry, but yeah, like, you know, he got himself to the upper echelons of power, and like, that's cool. He's a grifter. Like, people love to throw around the term grifter now, and grifter, grifter. Everyone's a grifter, but like, people love a snake oil salesman, and that's basically what he is. And like I said, he's a folk hero. It's cool.
who loves snake oil salesmen?
Everyone
what are you talking
loves
about?
snake oil salesmen. Everyone wants to be
I
the monorail
despise
guy.
them.
They think that they're cool.
They are the thing that is wrong with the world. They are the small micro version of everything that's wrong with like every evil corporation and government and like entity. It's
Yes.
just complete fucking nihilistic fucking gimme me shit. I can see how it's funny to say George Santos is cool, like ironically. But I would never like sincerely say he's a folk hero or good, like someone worth saying anything genuinely nice about. He's a piece of shit. He sucks. And also, he wasn't even good at being a grifter. He got booted out in less than a year. Like he was bad at. Like he got there and he burned out quickly because he just can't fucking contain himself.
And that's
so
actually
he's not even good. He's not even good at
that's
it. That's
part of the positive of the story, if we're being perfectly honest. Like, because everyone kind of wants someone to prove that, like, the system isn't broken after Donald Trump, right? So the fact that, like, another guy was just, like, a grifting, lying freak weirdo, but they are able to eject him instantly, it makes the libs happy, because it proves that, like, Trump, there was just something special about Trump and his mix of racism or something, you know, whatever. So it's like, okay, like, we got to flush the system by being like, we were able to catch this fraudster instantly. Aren't we smart? Aren't we good? And I'm not necessarily saying that he's good. And the way that you look at it, saying like the snake oil salesman is negative and bad, like, I think it's much like the people are more likely to like be able to imagine the end of the world than they are the end of capitalism. It's the same thing. I think that people are more willing to see themselves as being able to lie, cheat, steal, grift their way to a beneficial position than they are to believe that, like, we could fix the system. So that's why they look at George Santos and see that as, like, a positive outcome. Like, I could do that. I could lie, cheat, steal, and make my way to the top somehow, rather than thinking what you're saying, which is correct, that the system is fucked up and we should change it and replace it. And that's why people like him, because he gives you false hope for, like, a way that you could make it out. And it's the bucket of crabs things, which absolutely is fucking miserable and terrible, and it's really depressing to think about. But that's why it's nice to just shut your brain off and enjoy it and be like, isn't he kind of swaggy with it? I like this fruity little man who says that he's gay but also is buying porno. Like, I don't even know what this guy's deal is, but it is very funny because people are like,
what do you mean gay and buying porno? Like, those are like,
because he's like, a bunch of women are on Twitter being like, he was my top supporter on OnlyFans.
He was subscribing to women on OnlyFans. Okay.
Yeah.
I assumed it was dudes.
And I heard, former guest of the podcast, Kurt Huel, the Stink Sheet, they were talking about it, and they were like saying that the women who were saying, oh, he was my top contributor on OnlyFans, are like just trying to get clout. And I'm like, I actually kind of believe it, and I think that they're not thinking about like the economy of it, because even if George Santos is just paying them like $5 a month, he could still be one of your top supporters if you have like no subscribers. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, like he could, these women could not be lying and they're just looking for clout. It could be, he's just like doing that because he's just throwing money around and he's being nice and supportive, just like a gay best friend would be. And he's not necessarily looking at these women naked and hogging off. He's just being like, yeah, you're doing your thing, girl. You look good. Here's $5. Show that, put that pussy hole on the internet. So anyways, that's my point is, yes, he is a folk hero because people need some kind of like outlet to say like, this is how I could make it, because people do not believe that we could ever change the system. And you know that. You know that people don't believe. Again, it's easier to imagine the end of the world than it is to imagine the end of communism, right? Like, that should be up in lights on the wall. Like, everyone, it's just the truth.
I'm just saying. Then you could find any fucking cult
Senator,
scammer, cult leader.
Sorry, not senator. Any other congressman who's, again, the point is he made it higher than any other grifters. How many other people are? He was literally like, heartbeats away from the presidency. Like, a lot. But
I think Charles Manson was more successful at like his business than George Santos is at what he did. I think Charles Manson made more of an impact on the world, made himself richer. I mean, yeah, he did end up in jail for basically most of his life. But
but there's movies and documentaries about Charlie Manson also. I'm right? Like, I'm not saying,
and
George Santos is right now.
That if somebody was to tell me that their folk hero and idol was Charles Manson, I would look at them suspiciously like, are you irony broken? Is your brain broken? Or are you stupid? Because, like, he's not. I don't know. I don't.
Well, okay.
I think maybe my larger problem is like the irony poisoned people who The Simpsons fucking nailed it so easily with like one line like years and years and years ago. Are you being sarcastic, dude? I don't even know anymore. That kind of shit. That's maybe my bigger problem with people being like, oh, our boy George Santos and all this shit. Like, as a joke, fine. It's funny because it's like just pure sarcasm. Like, when you lose the plot and it's just like, do I like George Santos? Is he a folk hero? Like, I very clearly know in my mind what I think about George Santos and people like him. They're fucking horrible. They're evil. They're awful. He's just a funny version of that because he's so fucking like just slave to his id or whatever, that he can't help but like get kicked out after, yes, he did like ascend to the heights of the house or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
back to kind of the point that you were saying, like with the idea that people are either irony poisoned or retarded. We're talking about Americans, so it's both. Like, it's I agree with you on that regard. Like, yes, you're correct. Like, but that just still speaks to what I was saying. Like, it's just the factual situation that we're in, and like, for a lot of people, that this is the level that they can hope for. I mean, the world is fucked up,
okay,
man.
I agree with the facts. I guess why we're not like meeting on this, because I'm like making a ethical whatever judgment.
Sure.
Like, I'm not just reporting the facts, ma'am. Like, I'm saying this guy sucks. It's obvious that he sucks. Like, I don't know why people, and like, I don't even know who I'm talking about exactly. I guess I'm just like general, like sort of like Chapo adjacent type people. Like, I see like kind of making these proclamations about George Santos. Like, and I get it, because yes, he does not because he set out to do this, but by accident. Yeah, he does. It's an indictment of the system man type thing, for sure. And your point about craven liberals thinking that this shows that the system still works and it's still good and on our side, and Joe Biden personally kicked him to the curb, yeah, that's a bunch of horseshit. Like, if anything, it shows how fucking destroyed all of that stuff is, if it ever was, good to begin with. But yeah, wow, we only got through one of those.
Sure, it's not really a great palate cleanser. Anyways, continue. Let's get to the next story. I think palate cleansers are not working.
Yeah, agreed. There's probably a couple other good Santoses in there. That first one is, I don't know if they ranked them from like best to worst, but that one was not one of the better ones that I remember. But anyway, Joe Biden's scared, guys. Joe Biden is scared of artificial intelligence. This article just tickled me because picturing like senile, sundowning, brains leaking Joe Biden in the movie theater watching the latest Mission Impossible movie. This movie is what got Joe Biden really thinking about the dangers of AI, and
honestly,
that's really all there kind of is to the.
I have to say,
article.
I was just gonna say, I honestly have to say respect, because so many more people buy into the bullshit narrative that the AI companies, the big tech companies, feed you and launder through the news media to be like, I'm so scared. AI is becoming so dangerous because of how good and smart it is. It's scary and dangerous. And the stuff that they did with not Sam Bankman-Fried, but Sam Altman, where they did the like pretend palace intrigue coup thing, and then in the end he was still the CEO of the fucking company, and they're like, well, we just had to keep him in line to make sure that he knows that he's messing with something serious here, because AI is so good and scary and dangerous that we can't just let anybody run the company. Like, all the people who buy that shit hook, line, and sinker, that's just clearly fucking the tech companies, feeding their own narrative to PR shill news that buy into it. At least Biden is like so much more based in just fucking old man brain that he's like, he doesn't buy into that, but he watches Mission Impossible and is like, damn, that shit's crazy. Tom Cruise, you wild for this one. And I relate to that so much more than just falling for the shit that they're fucking feeding you. He's like at least getting it in a novel like concept where it's coming, like his brain is at least like picking it up on its own, and it's not just being fed whatever they want him to believe.
Well, I mean, you could say too that the movie then is like doing the same kind of like calculated fear mongering for these tech companies in a way. But
no, because because it says in the thing, the article, the thing that got him was watching the movie and seeing the way that they used AI, and the movie itself does not really even reference that it's AI. You know what I mean? Because it's like showing like the fake images and the stuff that they did in the show or in the movie.
No. The movie, the the fucking villain of the movie is AI.
Okay, all right.
Have you seen the movie?
No, of course not. I would never watch any film. I don't watch movies. It's brain poison.
You hate movies. Yeah. Well, I like the Mission Impossible movies, at least since the
I liked,
maybe after the third one.
The Mission Impossible from like the 70s. Those were good movies, but these Tom Cruise ones, no thank you.
All right. You just reminded me of a website of days of yore called "Look at This Fucking Hipster."
Is that me?
I only watched the original Mission Impossible.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh man, what a bygone term. Remember the hipster wars of the early aughts? I do.
I was there.
Who is a hipster? What does the word even mean?
Yeah.
Only hipsters use the word hipster. Only hipsters deny being hipsters.
The best argument,
the whole thing, folks. You had to be there.
No, the best one was hipster is just people who are using hipster to mean faggot. That was the best argument.
I don't even recall.
Oh yeah, that's when you really get deep in there. You're like, okay, people really are just using hipster to replace saying fag, like because you're not allowed to say that anymore. Yeah, that's that real shit.
There's
something to it, right?
I can be convinced.
Yeah, there's something to it for sure. But that's just like that then turns into like the N-word thing, right? This is what they call it, the euphemism treadmill. That's like, okay, well, at what point do you anyways. Continue.
Well, this thing about Biden, I mean, see, the way I pictured him was him like really fucking like in like the grips of senility, like as he's like being pummeled by this like really, I don't know, like perfectly manufactured film that's like, sucking you in and making AI look scary. Because I mean, that is the central villain of the film is literally like some sort of locus of computer tech. But it says here that Biden was also very alarmed to see deep fakes of himself, which I like, enjoy imagining him just like seeing those, like touching his own like computerized face, like, huh? Yeah. Just like, I mean, like at his most befuddled and confused, like not when he's like just gotten the IV of that sweet meth that we sell that you referenced earlier to get his brain moving slightly. But apparently it wasn't like getting debriefed by like, National Security Council or some shit or whatever, or like the
Yeah, it was not Biden just getting told
some
what
science
to believe.
advisor. It was him watching a fucking action movie that really got him thinking seriously about the modern threat of artificial intelligence.
Again, it's absolutely based because he's not just getting influenced by the deep state telling him what to think. He's in the muck with us watching movies, watching films. He's on Letterboxd and he's really finding out the real dirt.
Oh, middle class Joe. You're just like me.
I would like to see the Joe Biden seeing the AI version things of him, because the only ones that I ever see are the ones that are like hardcore fans, like hardcore music, like metalcore and hardcore.
I thought you were gonna say hardcore pornography.
No.
Where have I been?
No, I don't know what like Joe Biden AI stuff you get fed, but I get fed primarily like Obama, Trump, Biden, Hillary, but if they were like hardcore fans and like straight edge hardcore fans and stuff. And I would absolutely love if like Biden saw those and he's like, no way, Mac. There ain't no way I'd be into Deicide. I just can't. Dark Throne is not one of the best bands. I'm sorry. They're just not. Their breakdowns are too soft. I like something a little bit harder with more beat down. I would love to see him refuting the takes from the metalcore Biden. Because that's the only thing I ever see. I wonder what normal people see when they like the Biden AI stuff, because that's the only stuff I get.
I mean, the phrase, I don't know what you get fed in terms of Biden AI is something I could never have imagined
right?
I would have
It's so
heard
cool.
like 10 years ago even.
So cool. I love it.
I don't know. I honestly can't even think of a specific one that I've seen. I'm sure I've seen some stuff, though.
I've seen like video game stuff. I bet people get like more. I bet more people get more of that than I do. I've only seen like once or twice.
I tried making some of my own just voice stuff, like Biden text to speech things, but they were lacking, I felt like. Continuing with Biden, Joe Biden heckled at Christmas lights switch on as protesters sabotage event. This is something I'm happy is like continuing to happen. There's just one at outside of Anthony Blinken's mansion, like just, I don't know, hours ago or something. The people on the right side of history about Israel-Palestine stuff are not leaving these fuckers alone. I believe like Chuck Schumer's house has been like almost like a permanent spot. But anyway, in that vein, Biden was doing some, whatever photo op Christmas light shit in Nantucket, and he got swarmed. Gets swarmed by the Hamasites, and just start screaming genocide at him. And the video is kind of funny because you just see like the look on his fucking confused ass face, like it's like Christmas carols, and then suddenly you hear the chants, and like he looks quite scared and confused, which he deserves. At the very least, that's what he deserves. There's not much more to that story than that, really. It just gave me a little tickle and a little bit of a thrill's the wrong word, but just, I don't know. Just fucking something has to happen. Like, you can't just keep getting away with this shit completely. Like, at least be bothered.
Wriggle us away easily.
At least be bothered at your Christmas lights bullshit, at the very least. So, I guess segueing into the next thing, the U.S. House of Representatives has asserted in a legal sense that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. So this has been the ongoing debate over the last 2.5 so months, basically, about is it anti-Semitic to criticize Zionism? Obviously, no, it's not. But no, 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 says a majority of people in the House. And one of the funnier reactions I saw to this, which I did not supply a link to, but I'll just describe it. Good follow on Twitter, Wyatt Reed. He posted about this and said, "So I guess all these people are anti-Semites," and he linked to this video of like 20,000 like Orthodox Jews like jumping around, singing and dancing in this fucking like auditorium.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Orthodox side tends to be anti-Zionist, and sometimes their reasons are not great for being against the state of Israel. But still, they are Jews who are not in favor of Zionism, in fact, against it. So the idea of like the most Jewish thing on earth being anti-Semitic is kind of funny. Yeah. Of course, there's the other like pedantic thing you can bring up, but it's true, which is that Palestinians are Semitic people as well. It's not only Jews that are Semites.
Okay, let's not split hairs here. Come on.
It's true.
Everyone knows that Semites are just Jews. That's all it means now. It doesn't mean that other stuff. It doesn't mean Indian people.
Doesn't mean Iranians who, don't speak Arabic. But yeah. Anyway. So that sucks that is like enshrined. In law is a stretch. It's just like it's a resolution or whatever. But it's just kind of how it symbolizes how fucking upside down and fucked up all this shit has become, I think, in a way. Then the good old folks at The Onion had a banger of it's not an article. I'm not going to read a whole article, but I do want to read this from this slideshow that The Onion put together, because The Onion has been real on fire of late. I think I've mentioned that already on the show before, but like more so than usual. And we have here from The Onion, breaking news: every word besides children used to describe Palestinians under 18. And when I forwarded this to my self-help group called the True Anon subreddit, I mentioned that this one is, it's funny, but it's also it's kind of intense. You can tell that the people who write at The Onion, I don't know, I guess really believe in this shit. But anyway, here we go. Listing. Number 1, pre-corpse. So I'll read you the term for besides children used to describe Palestinians under 18, and then their reasoning for the term. Pre-corpse. Used in an effort to be more politically correct. This, by the way, the background of this is just bombed out photos of bombed out parts of Gaza. This one, in brackets, name redacted. Can't let them get any sympathy by publishing their names. Next, 5 points. Every time an IDF soldier gets 100 points, they are promoted. Soon to be extinct. With their greatly diminished population outside of captivity, Palestinian children risk being lost forever. That's the other thing about like all these actual articles about this shit that like won't use the words like children or murdered or even killed. Or it's just like corpses somehow found. Like, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little, but like that's basically what a lot of this shit has been. Let's see here. Missile magnets. For whatever reason, Palestinian children seem to love being on the receiving end of bombing operations. Go figure. Incubator jihadists. Premature babies in Gaza are often referred to by this more threatening term. Brown-skinned humanoid designed to elicit empathy. Don't let their sad little eyes fool you. These kindergartners are mass murderers who thirst for blood. Itty-bitty murder guys. Or,
Okay. I like that.
depending on the news story, itty bitty murder gals. Inclusive.
I like that.
Prepubescent killing machines. AP guidelines specify that any Palestinian younger than 12 should be referred to as this. Rascals.
Nice.
Israel's state media often tries to malign young victims in Gaza by painting them as no good ragamuffins who rarely behave. This one's good. 193-year-olds with terminal cancer. Hoping to spin their deaths as a kind of blessing, IDF propaganda posters often paint innocent children as extremely old people who are in a great deal of pain and ready to let go. Randos. What are they even, like, doing in Gaza? You'll like this one. Hamasito.
Ooh,
Spanish
I do like that
for little Hamas.
Yeah.
Adolescence. A more formal term for children. That's it. No subtext here. Just a nice synonym to beef up your vocabulary. The Butchers of Israel. Palestinian children collectively have earned themselves the moniker of a notorious serial killer. Little Brown Thing. Nothing to mourn here, just a few thousand little brown things have been extinguished.
Okay, but in my head, I'm doing the PYT, but it's Little Brown Thing. You know, the Michael Jackson song?
Yeah.
I got to love you, little brown thing. That's good. That is
I wonder
good right there.
what would Jacko be saying about all this?
He would be against it. He would think that it was wrong, and it was evil, and it was devilish. He would definitely say that this was a devilish situation. He would be upset that so many children were dying before he would be able to touch them, their hearts and minds with his music.
Good.
Yeah.
Good save. I mean, good point you meant to make from the beginning. Small human-like beings. At least the media is willing to acknowledge that they may be near personhood. Basically adults. And adult deaths aren't sad. Sorry, we don't make the rules. That honestly brings
Pretty
up a good point, which is like people get so kind of almost hung up on the children killing of it all, which is horrible, obviously, and I get why people sort of distinguish it. Or, you know, the women and children thing, because it's like generally women and children are not combatants. But there are all these like adult men as well that are non-combatants getting the same horrible fate. I don't know. It like slightly eclipses that to get if you like get bogged down in like an argument with some fucking like pro-Israeli asshole about this type of shit. But anyway, the adult deaths aren't sad, so haha, got you there.
Just a normal part of life. Adult people die, and they die all the time. Get used to it.
Next, them darn kids. Them rascals keep getting in the way of the IDF's dang bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Anti-Jews. This phrase comes from the Zionist belief that Palestinian children all come from a negative dimension and are the inverse of the Jewish people. Anti-Jewish matter.
Yep.
On the to-do list, the IDF is getting around to shooting them all, they promise. And that's the last one. Okay.
Fantastic.
I know it was a little extended, but I thought it was pretty good, worth
I liked it.
Reading on the air, as it were. Yeah, and then we get into. I mean, here's some. We can combine the AI tech talk with the massacre talk.
Okay, I like that.
Mass assassination factory, quote unquote. Israel using AI to generate targets in Gaza, increasing civilian toll. So this is one of those good uses of AI, I see.
Yes.
Not like Mission
Been looking for
Impossible.
those.
Basically, I mean, what this is like they basically decide where to target, who to target next through an algorithm, and it's all, would you know it, landing on the heads of civilians. I mean, human shields. I mean, little brown things. Whatever. So that's fun. And then this isn't related specifically to decimation of Gaza, but this headline is a real doozy in itself. Pentagon scientists discuss cybernetic super soldiers that feel nothing while killing in dystopian presentation. This is at...
That's literally, back to what we were talking about earlier, that's literally just meth.
This is from Vice magazine. The subheader here is, "The soldier of the future will be, quote, flooded with pain-numbing stimulants, cybernetically enhanced, and one official sort of joked, must be eventually, quote, terminated." So there was this conference in Orlando, and it happens annually. It's called the Inter-Service Industry Training Simulation and Education Conference, or I/ITSEC. An annual conference where military leaders come to talk shop and simulation corporations gather to demo new products. This is like the most dystopian thing in real life type shit you can imagine. Like, it's very, very weird that it actually exists, but also totally unsurprising at the same time, as so much of reality is, I suppose. But this year, it says, it was here in Orlando, Florida, where 5 illustrious members of the military-industrial complex gathered to discuss super soldiers at the, quote, Black Swan, Dawn of the Super Soldier panel. And basically, it's these people, the research scientists working on something called non-invasive brain stimulation for the Air Force. And yeah, this program is called Black Swan. They're literally talking about super soldiers, and these people look like fucking freaks and weirdos, and they look like people who like probably genuinely just like were really into science and like don't have any interest in politics, but are now like doing some of the most like, I don't know, overtly political type shit possible, but they probably hide behind like, oh, I'm just interested in research. But I'm just that's actually maybe giving them too much credit, to be honest. But these idiots are like literally referencing like Marvel movie shit, like in discussing what they want to build. They're like talking about Iron Man and Captain America and shit, talking about making synthetic blood, replacing night vision goggles with eye drops. These are 2 things the Pentagon is actually working on at the moment. Yeah, bringing up again the flooded with pain-numbing stimulants. Theoretically, would have the ability to regrow limbs and quickly heal wounds like a lizard, or I guess like Wolverine, so it sounds like. They also reference RoboCop. Like, I don't know. It's just funny that this exists to me. And I don't know what else there's to say about it beyond that. I mean, we all know military-industrial complex is up to no good. What do you say we talk about the DeSantis-Newsom face-off and then round it out with how Barack Obama is actually a Republican?
Did you watch the Gavin Newsom?
No, I just read about it.
Okay, I barely even read or heard about it, but we can definitely get into it if you'd like.
I mean, there's not that much to say about it either. Yeah, I mean... Okay, so I got one article here that was written right before the debate happened in the New Yorker.
I meant to say the New York Post.
Which I read after I read about the sort of post-mortem, like after the debate, which is even funnier because their whole thing in this New York Post article is basically like, easy, DeSantis is gonna mop the floor with Newsom. Like they're just like real, like swaggering and confident about this idea that like Newsom is like, I don't know. I guess he's like too much of a California elitist, but like they had this whole thing about like DeSantis's handling of COVID versus the way like Newsom handled COVID. Like that alone should be enough for people to, see who the winner of this is. And it's like, I mean, I'm not going to say that Gavin Newsom, I'm not going to say anybody in America handled COVID well, but like Florida was I think, objectively handled worse than California. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know. In any case, that's kind of besides the point. And also, I am no Gavin Newsom apologist at all. I dislike all these people. But I think just purely in a debate, it seems obvious that a slick guy like Newsom would like destroy DeSantis. That's just the way it seems to me. I don't know. He's got like, he can speak like a human being from what I've seen, unlike DeSantis, who, I don't know, looks like he's just about to explode for various reasons at all times. I learned a new word from reading this New York Post article. Bumptious? Bumptious. After running California into the ground, Newsom's bumptious self-regard is a laughable contrast to DeSantis' awkwardly earnest humility. So they still have to, they still recognize that he's at least awkward.
I think that bumptious word might be homophobic. Might be saying he likes to chum on bums.
They're really calling him out for his San Franciscan politics. I mean, speaking of the devil, they go on to say, homelessness, rampant drug abuse, human excrement on sidewalks are the most obvious manifestations of Newsom's elitist leadership style. But less visible metrics on California's misery index include woeful student learning outcomes and a yawning gulf between rich and poor. Notice they don't cite any Florida statistics. Not that I'm even I don't even have a fight in this, but I just know that Florida's a fucked up place. Anyway, the New York Post article is stupid. So after the debate happened, Newsweek, I guess the liberal yin to New York Post's yang, they wrote,
Does Andrew Yang work for the New York Post? I wouldn't be surprised.
I knew you were going to say something about Andrew Yang.
Does he?
What happened to the Forward Party, anyway? I was going to join that thing.
They were canceled for being too forward to a lady at a party.
Is that right?
Yeah. No, of course not. That's not right. I think it ran its course predictably because it was bullshit from the beginning.
Yeah.
Come on, Mr. I don't like snake oil salesman, but you're like, oh, is Andrew Yang going to really make a difference with a math hat?
I don't know whether to. I was joking.
I know. Just like Michael Jackson was when he was joking with those children. Anyways, continuing on.
Yes, I molested Andrew Yang's Forward Party. Seriously. Ron DeSantis' poop map during Gavin Newsom debate brutally mocked. And he is holding in his hand there, it looks like a laser printer printout of a map covered in shit.
Well, what we could call that a mass effect. Anyways, continuing. I don't even know what that is. It's a video game.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It sounds like something though.
I don't know why.
So some smart person on Twitter who probably has bad liberal politics. I'm just guessing from this. I have no idea. They basically summed up the whole debate as this. Newsom says, Ron has literally the worst mental health system in America. Forgive me, outside of Mississippi and Texas. DeSantis holds up feces map. Which he did. He did actually hold up a map of that's supposed to be where the feces is consolidated or whatever. Where
right.
I don't know who's making this map, by the way. I didn't really look that heavily into it. But,
here's the poops.
DeSantis did come prepared with receipts and a shit map, and apparently got humiliated by Newsom. And that's probably all there really is to even say about this. Right. Other than DeSantis is just seems to be more pathetic by the day. Donald Trump is going to win the nomination, I'm sure. And actually, we have to mention Nikki Haley, right?
No, we don't. Even though she's a woman, we don't have to respect her.
Well, you're the one who sent me this. I hadn't heard about it till you sent it to me.
Wow, that was off the record.
Oh, sorry. Should I bleep
No,
this?
go ahead. I'm fucking around. Go.
Well, why don't you explain?
Because I don't remember. That would be the main reason. I don't remember what you're talking about. Anyways, is it on the list? Is it on the notes?
It was, and now I'm just looking for it. Basically, she said, "Here we go." I mean, I'm in the Discord.
Oh, yes. This is what you're talking about.
Nikki Haley at the recent Republican debate said, "Tell us what she said, Tim."
She said, for every 30 minutes that someone spends watching TikTok every day, they become 17% more anti-Semitic, more pro-Hamas. Which
Good stats.
I don't know how I could become more anti-Semitic or more pro-Hamas, but I've been trying like hell, you know? My real response to this was that, like, I watch my coworkers spend all day when they're not actively working being on TikTok, and I mentioned BDS to one of them once, and then I had to explain to them what Israel was. So I don't think that TikTok is making people more anti-Semitic or more pro-Hamas.
It's so weird. Like every 3 months, everyone wants to destroy TikTok. I don't really understand. I mean, it's just. I guess it's just a scapegoat. I don't know, but
Sure.
like, it's very pathetic. What's also pathetic is when you scroll down on this tweet that you sent me of this Nikki Haley quote by Insider Paper Official. The first comment is someone posting, "I need this cup," with a picture of a mug that it printed on the mug says, "I love it when I wake up and Trump is not president." You can see a Christmas tree behind there. I think this person is trying to sell their mug.
I think so, maybe.
Because then it says, "My daughter found this cool mug online. I ordered it and the quality is amazing. I got it from here."
She is quote tweeting the mug, or like you said, she's quote tweeting that other tweet and then a picture of it, and this is why Twitter is good now.
This is like the fucking series of rabbit holes, series of tubes, the internet of rabbit holes down like I don't know, shit lib Twitter. So like you follow that quote tweet, and then the first comment on that quote tweet is a guy named Rod Shields, Ukraine flag emoji, saying, "I'm buying one now!" Exclamation point. Then there's another mug below that. Let's just read Twitter to the podcast by someone named Cowtown Cat that says, "This one's better."
I'm on it.
Photo of a mug that has the White House presidential seal on it. It says the White House, Washington, 20th January 2021. Joe, you know what? Joe,
I
won. Oh, this is a pro-Trump.
Signed by Donald Trump, President of the United States of America.
I should have read the whole thing before I opened my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah.
He said, "Joe, you know I won."
So I feel like I'm right in the center of that, the nexus of the culture wars right now. Mug wars.
Okay, but then you scroll down a little bit more, and you've got Moby Duck, and they've got a picture of a mug tweeted there, and the text reads, "Did you read the inside? Nice mug anyway. Maybe you can write over the original message, paint over it, or put tape around it." And then they've got a picture of the bottom of a mug with a little bit of coffee in the corner, and it says, "You've been poisoned."
Wait, which mug is this supposed to be? The Trump one? This is
supposed to be the mug,
or the
original mug.
The anti-Trump
the
one.
pro-Biden mug. The original pro-Biden anti-Trump mug actually says, "You've been poisoned."
And this is a pro-Trump person, I see. Got it.
Yeah, but it's like maybe before you die, you could put some tape on that mug so it will be less offensive, but also you're going to die from the poison. So,
got it.
Good job, Moby Duck. You got the ass.
Moby Duck. That's clever.
I don't get the clever part of it, but okay.
All right. Finally,
we got one here from Truth Bombshell 77, and their mug says Trump won. It's got the original Betsy Ross flag, and then it's got the current 50 in quotation marks, states flag, and it says Save America. Anyways, yeah, I was fucking around. Finally, what were you talking about?
Well, I just clicked on the link that was working like an hour ago or so, and now it's not. So I'm going to archive.
Let me check, because maybe I'll be able to make it work. Which one are you looking at? Jalopnik?
The one about the guy named Barack Obama. Mandela.
Yeah, let's see. Nope. Page not found. Sorry, this page is bad. And you're bad for looking at it.
Archive.
Oh, I got
be
it.
able to get it.
I was able to pull it up on the other link. Barack Obama is a Republican. In parentheses, yes. Comma.
Yes,
Really?
comma, really.
Close parentheses.
Okay, I got it now,
And it's
too.
got a picture of Obama. It's got a spinning wheel. Anyways, go. Do it. Do
Go
the damn
ahead.
thing.
Go ahead, man.
Hit it. No, I'm not the reading guy.
The reading guy.
Got some
Okay.
protein. You got some dead bitch. Diane Feinstein. If there's one thing I would call her, Diane not Feinstein, because she is looking busted as hell.
Yeah, corpse be busted. So there's this really cool guy that I want to see take over. This could be the next George Santos, really.
Yes.
So, haha, Newsweek tricked you with their clickbait. They're not really talking about Barack Hussein Obamacare Obama. They're talking about Barack Obama Mandela. He's a candidate running as a Republican in the 2024 California Senate primary and has the support of 2% of likely voters. Contest comes
That's
after
not
the
bad.
death. I mean,
2% is not bad.
For what we're about to learn about this guy, it's shockingly good, I guess. Or maybe it's just right. I don't know. So, yeah, Dianne Feinstein, she died. Remember, she died in September. God, it felt like so much longer ago than that. But previously mentioned California Governor Gavin Newsom appointed Lefonza Butler, who has already said she won't defend the seat to complete the congressional term. Wow, not very ambitious there, Lefonza. So anyway, what's up with this guy? Will just be called Mandela, I guess, from here on out in this article. He was born in Long Beach, California, studied at University of California, originally named Mark Hardy, but changed his name to Barack Obama in 2014, telling the Times of Israel, for whom he wrote a number of blogs, that it would help him, quote, speak out in support of Israel by matching the name of the then American president. It is unclear at what point he also added Mandela to his name. They don't show a picture of this guy either. They just show a picture of the real Obama. The Times of Israel reported that Mandela converted to Reform Judaism in 1995, then Orthodox Judaism 2 years later, after which he moved to Israel and joined the IDF. After being released in 2002, he returned to America and served in the U.S. military for 3 years. One of his blogs, written under the name Barack Mandela, in one of them, he claimed to, quote, have served in 3 IDF units. Bunch of Israeli terms I don't want to try to pronounce. Also, the driver of a Merkava battle tank. Anyway, this guy loves Israel, is the point. Served in the IDF.
He is correct. He's correct for loving Israel.
Correct to
He's
do
correct
so.
for changing his name to Barack Obama. Correct. This man is one of the most correct and right-thinking human beings ever.
And let me support you
and
support you with more facts that back this up, back up your claim. The Times of Israel reported that Mandela had written a hip-hop translation of the Bible, which Newsweek found on Amazon under the author name Mark Charles Hardy. In 2014, Black Hitler, Kobe-Lebron Goebbles Conquers America was published by Barack Obama Mandela.
Wait a minute. We might have to send this clip out to, again, former guest of the show, Kurt Huell of the Stink Sheet, because they had a Patreon follower whose name was Black Hitler. So
That could be anybody, but still.
this might be related, though. I mean, how many people are Black Hitler? I don't know a ton of Black Hitlers. Do you? I even was trying to search for Black Hitler to like find this person, and it was like very difficult. There's not a ton of Black Hitlers out there.
Yeah. I mean, yes, we should alert them, though.
I think we shall.
According to the synopsis of this book, in this seductive thrill ride, Kobe-Lebron Goebbles, who becomes dictator of the United States of America, renames the country the Fourth Reich, and then establishes a white power regime throughout the nation. See, here's my question about Barack Obama Mandela. I sort of just, I don't know, reflexively assumed this was a black man. When I first read like the headline and kind of quickly skimmed the article, but it seems to me I guess it doesn't really.
Yeah.
Well, no, it does.
Well,
it does change. It does change the
converted.
tenor of some of this stuff. If he's just some like white guy, or if he's he's not Israeli, right? No, because he converted to Judaism, so he's probably
he
not
said he
Israeli.
converted to Judaism. He could be a Black Israelite.
He could be a black Israelite, but like the Kobe-Lebron Goebbles thing itself is anti-black racism from a fellow black folk person. But I don't know. It's hard to say because they don't say in this article. There's no picture. But the synopsis also bizarrely claims Black Hitler is one of the most important books ever written since Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. See, I don't know what to make of this exactly. Yeah, so he's at 2% support for getting this seat. Adam Schiff and Katie Porter, who are like current members of the House, are also running for this seat, I guess. I don't know Katie Porter, but I know Adam Schiff, and he sucks. He's really bad. He's terrible. So I'd love to see him ousted by Black Hitler or whatever his name is. Barack Hussein Mandela, Hitler, Israel, IDF member. This guy apparently doesn't want any doesn't want to be backed up by Newsweek or something. He has like rejected their outreach to his Twitter accounts, apparently. That's it. That's it.
That's the end of Barack Obama, Black Hitler, Cytoxin, Hussein. I don't know what the rest of the name was, but either.
It's just such a weird mashup of qualities. Like I don't even like. I'm still like trying to.
I found him.
To take it all in.
I found him. Hold on, Ballotpedia. Barack Obama Mandela, Republican Party.
They referenced Ballotpedia in the article as well.
Yeah. I found him. He is I don't know. I can't say based on looking at someone what.
Oh, you found his picture, you mean?
But he appears to be a man with a high melanin count in his skin.
Yeah.
I cannot assume his race. But yeah, so his religion, it does say here that he is Jewish. His profession is he is an attorney, which I'd love to really shake that out and see, because you said that he graduated from the University of California, which I was going to interrupt you, but I stopped. I did not, because I'm like, what does that mean?
They have a hyperlink.
Yes.
But
it says here on Ballotpedia that he graduated from the University of California, Riverside in 1994. And with a JD from, so that's what is a JD? That's a
I don't know, actually.
Degree?
I forget.
Yeah, Juris Doctor. So he graduated from the University of California, Riverside with his bachelor's. He got his Juris degree from the University of California, Hastings College in 1997. That's a pretty big gap. I guess that makes sense. Anyways, it's like a 3-year gap to do your post grad. For your Juris Doctorate is probably not crazy. Anyways, he served in the U.S. military from 2006 to 2008. So yeah, he is Barack Obama Mandela. I don't know, again, like you said, I don't know when he added Mandela. No one knows, really, when he added the Mandela, but he did at some point. I just sent you the Ballotpedia link there, so you can see the picture there, and you could assess for yourself. Again, like I said, I can't say based on looking on this guy what race he is, but he definitely is similarly skin complexion to Barack Obama himself. So I actually think it's good. I think he's allowed to be racist and say all the stuff that he was saying because his skin looks like that. It's what they call the melanin force field, if you've ever heard of that before. He has that. So anyways.
If you search his pre-name change name, Mark Hardy, there's a bunch of fucking weirdos that come up, all named Mark Hardy. One of them does look Obama-esque, but I can't tell which one is which.
Well, pull up that Ballotpedia article or Ballotpedia site that I just sent you. You can figure out who he is. I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. I'm going to vote for him. What's he running for? He's
trying to take Feinstein's seat, and he would be like humiliating Adam Schiff, one of the biggest pieces of shit ever. Yeah. So I would love that.
I don't know if that's statewide election, but I think that would not be covering my.
I think you got to be in that district, right?
Yeah,
because I was gonna say you gotta fucking get out there and like wave signs for this guy, but
yeah.
But it's a bit bit north of where you are, so
I think I might take a vacation and go up there and really hit the pavement, pound the pavement for Barack Obama.
Get him on the pod, man.
Oh, that would be even better. Let's do it. Fuck it.
That would be amazing. I don't know how I would deal with that. I have a hard enough time maneuvering the irony and the earnestness as it is. If I got that guy on, I would fucking fall apart. You'd really have to take a lead on that one. Ask him what he thinks of snake oil salesman. Go from there.
Yeah. His Facebook, the Facebook that had linked to him goes to someone called Sam Dixon, and they've got like a white SoundCloud rapper as their profile picture, but then they've also got a bunch of pictures of Barack Obama Mandela as like their pictures. So this actually might be his account. God damn!
I think this is. Let's just say this is not the last time we're going to hear from Barack Obama.
Oh
Mandela.
No! Oh, most certainly not.
There'll be some more deep diving and updating in future episodes, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get that scoop. That
the Mandela bump.
We get the Mandela bump. The interview. The Diane Sawyer, Barbara Walters epic interview with Barack Obama Mandela. And for the sake of throwing in a little stinger that you haven't heard in a while.
Planes behaving badly. They'll fly your pathetic human ass straight to hell.
Oh,
Planes behaving badly.
Oh no.
Just series of headlines. Skydiving pilots try to swap planes in midair, causing crash and an FAA investigation. Those guys were crazy. But that when I actually clicked on that article though, they had like practiced this stunt like 300 times or something. So there wasn't anything like. So then I guess so even more so. Can't be chalked up to human error. This is the malevolence of airplanes themselves.
Yeah. We're taking them down.
Next, pilot sentenced for decapitating skydiver who just jumped out of his plane. That one's more just pure tragedy, but I say the plane is guilty somehow.
Yes. I honestly, I hate to say it, but I agree. I mean, that doesn't sound like that's a pilot's fault at all. That's
No, I think he even said that he fucked up. But
how.
I think, I mean, it was obviously just like a horrible accident.
Of
but,
course,
like,
you're taking the plane's side.
yeah, I'm Mr. Plane or whatever. I'm Mr.
Yeah.
Airplane.
No, the plane.
Well, what do you think about your pilot now? A French pilot. Ha.
That's okay. I don't hate French people. They're good.
What? All right, fair enough.
They can be good. Especially, when they drink a bunch of wine and cheat on their wives. That's cool. I like that.
Oof. There was another skydiver who actually filmed this thing happen with his GoPro.
Oh, sick. He got his head cut off and there's tape?
No, well, wait. No, the guy who didn't get his head cut off. But so that means someone filmed it from like maybe saw it. I don't know. I mean, it says, oh, he was wearing, it wasn't even really a skydiver. I mean, it's still skydiving, but he didn't have a parachute. He had like one of those wingsuit things. I blame the wingsuit. Blame the wingsuit, not the airplane.
Nope, it's the plane. It's the plane. It was the plane.
And finally, there were. This is just like the probability of this is just kind of wild, I guess. But this was in, where was this? I was gonna say Ethiopia, but I think I'm just thinking of any country in Africa. Tanzania. Airport there. Airline crashes 2 planes on same runway hours apart. So this was just like, yeah, both crashed upon landing. Definitely a plane problem. Well, that's planes behaving badly. That's heat death of the universe.
Fuck all of those planes.
Mr. Airplane does not endorse the views on this podcast. Period. I've got general recommendations. How about you?
I do have a general recommendation. Do you want me to go? You want me to do it first?
Sure, whatever.
Okay. True Detective. True Detective Season 1, I just started it. It's a good show. It's really good. I recommend it. Watch the first season of this show.
It is good.
I'm also some good actors in it. Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey are both pretty sick. And that's primarily just what the whole show is. It's really good.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm an apologist even for the subsequent seasons, which a lot of people disliked for some reason. They're not. I mean, it's very different. Like they're not like connected at all. Like they're totally separate stories, but they do center around basically like crime and detectives and whatnot. But there's second and third season, and I think there's a fourth one coming out too. Maybe it's already come out.
I can't tell if it's already out or if it's coming out. I could not tell, but I'm just trying to not look that hard because I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
So yeah. Second
Second one is good though. I've even rewatched the second one, but I am the rewatcher after all. The third True Detective series has an actor that is in my general recommendation. Actually,
wonderful.
Mahershala Ali. He is also he's in season 3 of True Detective. Really good in it. He is in this movie that I watched last night with the missus, called Leave the World Behind, that I think just came out on Netflix like yesterday. Directed and written by Sam. I never know how to say this guy's name. The guy who made Mr. Robot. Sam Esmail. I'm going to say Esmail. That's the way it looks. I know he's Egyptian, so that's why I think that I'm probably saying his name wrong. But anyway, I liked Mr. Robot fine enough. I think I got kind of tired with it towards the end of that series, but generally I like what he's made. He made another good show too called Homecoming, psychological thriller series called Homecoming, starring Julia Roberts, which was an actress I always kind of disliked growing up for some reason. I found her annoying. I didn't get why she was so popular, but in her like elder years, and after watching that series she did with Esmail here, I was like, oh shit, she's all right. She's not bad. That Julie Roberts, she's got that kid's going places. But she's also in this movie along with Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon in more of a minor role, and this one young actress who has a name that I don't know how to pronounce, but I've seen her in other stuff, and she was good as well. But it's basically about kind of the beginning of the apocalypse, I guess. Like this family is renting a big house out in, like, I don't know, just outside of New York City, and things start to go awry. I don't really want to say much about it. Like, I went into it basically knowing all I knew about it was that, like, this family is at this house and these two other people come to the house and are like, we own this house. Can we want to stay here now? And then it kind of like goes from there. Yeah, it's good psychological thriller and has some interesting sort of bigger picture implications about technology crashing and terrorism and all that stuff. Yeah, it was good. It's based on a novel, and I liked the movie so much that I got the audio version of the novel, and I'm going to listen to that. And finally, I will recommend a trailer that I just watched right before we got on here to record for Park Chan-wook's newest thing. Park Chan-wook, the Korean director of note, of Old Boy, and all those awesome movies that I've mentioned on the podcast before. He's doing this series called The Sympathizer with Robert Downey Jr. and a cast of Vietnamese actors who I don't recognize. But it's kind of cool because it's like based on a book by a Vietnamese writer about the Vietnam War era and like spies and communism and people trying to trick each other. This is what I gathered from the trailer, at least. And Robert Downey Jr. wearing lots of different wigs and disguises and shit, probably being funny and all Downey Jr.-ish. But it looks really cool. And I love Park Chan-wook, so I kind of trust him to do good with whatever he's doing. So look forward to that in 2024 sometime. I think it's like a A24 HBO production. It'll be well known, I'm sure. It's got Iron Man in it, so it'll get promoted a lot. I'm guessing. I don't know. It's good that guy's like finally doing other shit besides Marvel shit. I think. Yeah, it is. He's good. Ever see Zodiac? I know you don't like movies, but Zodiac's a good one.
I never watched that Zodiac movie, but it did seem like something that would be good. Like
it's very good.
Would enjoy it. Yeah.
It's a damn good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I should just say watch The Killer as well. Thinking of David Fincher now. Also Netflix film. That was also very good. I've already seen it twice. Oh, so yeah, that's good, three. Yeah, it's good because I liked it. All right. We have a website, heatdeathpod.com. We're on Twitter. We have a Discord. That's the one I should start with. Join the Discord.
Yeah,
Tell us stuff. Post your memes. Whatever. We want engagement, folks. And I think that's it. And Tim, you've got all your other things. Tell the good people.
I did a episode of the other podcast, the wrestling podcast, recently. It went pretty good. I had my very close friend JML on. I felt bad afterwards because I realized that I like kind of steamrolled over him talking about getting doxxed and people like coming after him and his home address and blah, blah, blah. I like feel even bad saying blah, blah, blah on it here because I just skipped over it. It was pretty cool, but it was a good podcast. Check that out at the We Don't Know Wrestling podcast network. It's the show that doesn't have a name that's on the network. Every week it just comes out and it's called whatever it is that week. Check
its
that out.
Its name is the title.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. It was,
It took me a while to figure that out, to be honest. I was really confused by that.
Yeah. It's kind of the point. It's like,
because you were like, there's no name, and I'm like, but I'm seeing words. I couldn't compute.
Like, each episode is like this week we are whatever, and it's the name of the episode. It's the name of the episode, but the podcast doesn't have a name, right? Yeah. Anyways, check that out. Because again, why am I even explaining this? It doesn't matter. The point was like podcasts have a name. Oh, what are we going to call this podcast? And I was like, why does it have to have? It doesn't have to have a name. It's not required. It's not illegal for there to be a podcast that doesn't have a name. It should be, but it's not. So that's why I said, fuck it. The show doesn't have a name because it doesn't have to. Anyways, check that out. Follow me on Twitter at ROHDutch. I guess that's it. I already told you to watch that thing, the show that I'm watching. It's good. Watch it with me. I'm going to tweet about it. I've been tweeting about it. I'm going to do it. I kind of have a thread going. Basically, if you look for me and you look for a tweet where I said, this True Detective show slaps, I'm going to the thread is going to be underneath there where I talk about it. I did the same thing when I watched Girls. We rewatched Girls. I was just like, I'm rewatching Girls. Here's the thread, right? Like, so look for that and you'll see my thoughts. I'll go for a bit on this as we're going through it. It's a good show though. It's hard to like argue. It's just a good show. Anyways, that's it.
And you can find all this shit in the show notes. Please don't disregard said show notes. There are lots of links to things you might want to see, including Tim's other projects and Twitter threads about a show that was a huge hit like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's my style.
No, it's cool. It's good. It kind of makes me. I mean, I have rewatched True Detective probably 3 times. Jesus, I watch stuff too much, but I could probably find myself going back again. Those McConaughey monologues, the deep, dark existentialist monologues, are like. I mean, they're almost like too almost hilariously like heavy, but they're good.
I think human consciousness was a tragic misstep in evolution. We became too self-aware. Nature created an aspect of nature separate from itself. We are creatures that should not exist by natural law.
Well, that sounds god-fucking awful, Rush.
We are things that labor under the illusion of having a self, this accretion of sensory experience and feeling. Programmed with total assurance that we are each somebody, when in fact everybody's nobody.
I wouldn't go around spouting that shit I was you. People around here don't think that way. I don't think that way.
I think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
So, what's the point of getting out of bed in the morning?
I tell myself I bear witness. The real answer is that it's obviously my programming. And I lack the constitution for suicide.
My luck, I picked today to get to know you. 3 months, I don't hear a word from you, and...
You asked.
Yeah, and now I'm begging you to shut the fuck up.
I've heard that the writer and like showrunner of that show, he's written some books that are like kind of in that vein as well. Like it's basically like the McConaughey character is like the voice of his books, but that's just what I've heard. Anyway, this is a slow wind down to the end of the episode, so let's abruptly cut it off right here.
From the dusty mesa, a looming shadow grows, hidden in the branches of the poison creosote. She twines his mind up slowly towards the boiling sun. My fingers ran with blood. When the last light warms the rocks and the rattlesnakes unfold,
Mountain cats will come to drag away the bones.
then rise and leave forever across the silent sand, and the stars will be your eyes, and the wind will be my hand.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?